There's a small mountain village that disappears under fog every single night. The villagers have a rule. When the fog comes, you never look into a mirror, because sometimes the person looking back at you isn't really you. Tonight's story is about someone who didn't believe that rule. Her name was Mara. Mara was a young teacher from the city. After losing her job and ending a long relationship, she wanted a quiet place to start over. So she moved into an old rental house on the edge of a fog-covered village. The villagers were polite, but distant. At the small school where she worked, the kids whispered about mirror nights. She thought it was just a local superstition, something to scare children. One evening at the village cafe, she met old Alan, the oldest man in town. He leaned closer and said, "Old Alan," raspy voice, "when the fog gets thick, miss, cover your mirrors. Don't let your reflection watch you too long." Mara smiled politely and said she didn't believe in ghost stories. Aline just stared at her. Old Aline. That's what they all say until the fog remembers them. That night, Mara brushed her teeth in the small bathroom. The window was open. Fog drifted inside, wrapping around her ankles. She looked into the mirror and froze. Her reflection was smiling, but she wasn't. Just a small grin, slow, strange, spreading across the face in the glass. She blinked. The smile vanished. Her heart pounded. She laughed nervously, thinking she was just tired. She covered the mirror with a towel and went to bed. But all night, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching from behind the towel. A week passed. The fog seemed thicker each night. Mara noticed something else. Whenever the fog rolled in, the lights in her house flickered. And once, while closing the curtains, she saw a child's face outside in the fog. The next day, she asked one of her students, a quiet boy named Benji, about it. "Mara, do you have a sister, Benji? I thought I saw someone outside your house." Benji looked down. "My sister's gone, miss." The fog took her. He said it so calmly that Mara's blood went cold. That night, she tried to laugh it off, but around midnight, she heard soft knocking from her bathroom, like fingers tapping glass. She opened the door slowly. The towel had fallen from the mirror, and behind her reflection, something moved. The next morning, she ran to old Aline's house. He listened quietly, eyes full of pity. "Old Aline, you've looked too long. Once it knows your face, it starts learning your life, Mara." "What do you mean, it?" "Old Aline, the reflection, the one from the fog. It shows you what you could have been. Another life, another path. It tempts you." He handed her an old silver coin and said, "Keep this under your pillow. And when the fog comes, don't look into any mirror, even by accident." That night, she turned every mirror to the wall, but she forgot one, the small one on her dresser. The fog was heavier than ever, pressing against the windows like a living thing. Mara couldn't sleep. She sat up and looked toward the dresser. Her reflection was facing her, even though she hadn't moved. The woman in the mirror looked softer, happier, wearing a ring, smiling gently. Behind her stood a man Mara recognized, her ex-boyfriend. Mirror Mara reached out a hand and whispered, though her lips made no sound, "Come back." Mara stumbled back, shaking. The air felt electric. Then, the mirror cracked down the middle. She screamed, but when she looked again, everything was normal. Only her reflection was still smiling. The next morning, school was cancelled. Benji had gone missing. The villagers searched all night, finding only footprints that stopped at a fog-covered pond. Old Aline said nothing, just closed his eyes and muttered prayers. Mara blamed herself. Maybe she had scared him. That evening, she sat in front of the covered mirror, clutching the silver coin. Mara, whispering, "If you're real, what do you want from me?" For a long moment, silence. Then, a faint voice came from behind the glass. "Trade." The lights went out. The fog poured under the door. The sound of footsteps echoed, not from the hall, but inside the walls. Mara lifted the towel from the mirror. Her reflection stood there, breathing slowly, smiling with perfect calm. She whispered, "You're not me." The reflection tilted her head and whispered back, "I could be. Better. Happier." The glass began to ripple like water. A pale hand reached out. Mara tried to back away, but her feet wouldn't move. The air felt like ice. The reflection stepped through, and everything went black. Morning. The fog had lifted. Villagers said Mara looked different that day. She smiled more. Her voice sounded lighter, but old Alan, watching from his porch, only muttered, "She's not the same one." Inside the house, a faint tapping echoed from the mirror. From the other side, the real Mara pressed her palms against the glass, screaming silently as her reflection walked away. Weeks later, a new teacher arrived in the village. She rented Mara's old house. On her first night, old Alin knocked on her door. He handed her a towel and said quietly, "When the fog comes, cover your mirrors." The woman laughed. She didn't believe in ghost stories. But that night, when the fog rolled in, her reflection blinked twice, and she didn't.